Welcome to 4Ocean. My name is Alex and we employ captains and crew around the world to clean plastic out of the ocean. Today we are taking this skiff and we're gonna go clean up some plastic in Boynton Beach. So we're in Boca Raton, which is on the east coast of Florida, and Boynton is about a 15-20 minute drive north of us. And so what we're gonna do is we're gonna load up the skiff with all our gear. We're gonna head to the boat ramp up there. We're gonna launch and go to a few different areas to try and collect some plastic. We just recently installed the T-top on this boat. Big shout out to Carolina Skiff for providing us with that new fiberglass hardtop. We got that installed, and today we're gonna be able to make sure that it's secure and ready for cleanups. So it's gonna be a good day. There might be some rain around 11 o'clock, but I think we're looking pretty good and we're gonna send it. So let's go take a look at the map and better understand where we're gonna go and clean today. So welcome to Mission Control Room. This is where we plan out all our cleanups, we get all our stuff, really dial in for the game plans and what we plan to do. So for example, we've got all our maps. And so this is a map of Palm Beach County. And so right now here, we're located right here in Boca Raton. This is Lake Boca. Our headquarters is right here. So what we're gonna be doing is we're actually going to Boynton, which is about a 15-20 minute drive north. And Boynton Inlet is the next inlet north of the Boca Raton Inlet. So the reason why we're gonna go up there is because there are some areas that accumulate large amounts of plastic. So the Gulf Stream is a large current that runs north along the state of Florida. And what happens is a lot of plastic from the Caribbean it's floating out there in the ocean, and it ends up coming in, and the Gulf Stream comes really close to Florida, right around the Boca and Boynton area. So on a strong incoming tide, what happens is all that plastic goes into the inlet here, and then what we're gonna see is that there's different pockets. So there's little mangrove pockets over in the corners where the onshore winds are going to be pushing that plastic into these little areas. So we'll see a large accumulation of all sorts of plastic that's been floating out in the ocean, and we're going to go and try and find it and see if we can clean it up. So these are our U-line 55-gallon bins. We like to use these for cleanups because they're really durable. They are easy to transport. You know, if you load up a giant bin, it ends up being 200-300 pounds, and you can't really offload that once you get back to the shop. So these will get to, 100 pounds maybe. So they're more manageable, and you can move them in and out of the boat, in and out of the truck. We've got these tops and lids for them so that no trash flies out on the way home. But these are what we use. You can see all of them here. This is how we switch them out in our operations. So we'll just be doing cycles, and these are set up for sorting, for processing, for everything. So it's just a rotation cycle with all of the bins constantly. All right, so we got bins, we got buckets, we got bags, we got gloves, we got tongs. I think we're ready to clean. Whenever trailering a boat, you want to make sure there's a few things you really look out for. So the first thing is make sure you have the right ball size. So there's a 2-inch, which is a standard ball size, and I believe it's 2 5/16. That's the larger ball size, right? There's typically 3. There's a smaller one, there's a 2-inch, and a 2 5/16. Always triple check on the trailer tongue what size the ball is, and make sure, because if you have a smaller one, that can make it where the trailer could pop off on the highway. So you always want to triple check, especially when you have options for flipping and switch around your trailer sizes, and make sure that you have the right one. So trailers actually have, and this is why I like the Ameritrail so much, it's a very high quality trailer, and what it has is it actually has hydraulic brakes that are installed on the axles. And so what that is that's actually a system that when the brakes are depressed in the truck and there's pressure, or actually electric over hydraulic, what happens is when you press the brakes, it's going to trigger those brakes on the trailer. So when you've got 2,000-3,000 pounds of ghost nets and plastic and a heavy load on the boat, it's going to stop the truck, but also stop the boat at the same time, because it gets very dangerous once you're putting a ton of weight in there, where if it's all the stopping power on the boat, that momentum and all that weight's just going to want to slide through and push the boat. So you want to always lift up. So safety chains are super important. Make sure all your safety chains are hooked up. You want to go on each side, lock it down. Now this right here, this is the brake, basically engagement cable. So what this is going to happen is if this were to fall off, you want this guy hooked up. So what happens is it's going to pull on this, and that's going to engage the brake. So if the trailer was ever to come loose on the highway driving down the road, this is going to trigger. It's going to engage this lever. All these brakes are going to lock up, and now you don't have a 5,000, 7,000 pound missile going 70 miles an hour down the road. It's going to just hit the brakes and stop and just be sitting right in the highway. So you really want to be careful. You want to triple check at all times that you have, not only on this, so this I have a pin to keep the tongue locked, but on most trailers it'll be a lever action and you'll put a pin through it. A lot of people forget to put that pin, but it's super important because that's what'll stop that, that coupler from opening and then this trailer popping off. So it's just like doing like a pre-flight inspection, right? You wanna make sure that you have everything done. So your cable's on, the coupler's down, your safety lock's on, you've got your safety chains, you've got your brake cable hooked, you're looking good. Now, you wanna lastly install your trailer lights. Trailer lights are hooked. Make sure she's secure, and you're ready to go. You can see with the running lights now, trailer lights are all working. We're looking good. Boat, so another thing actually, so on the trailer, I'm a big fan. This is another reason why I love Ameritrail trailers. They have a bracket that's welded to the back of their aluminum trailer, and what they have is these boat buckles. These things are a lifesaver. So what these are they're straps that you can attach to your boat to keep the stern of the vessel secure to the trailer. So like a lot of people use those like ratchet straps that you get from home improvement stores. To be honest with you, they're a nightmare. They're always getting tangled up. They're always rusting out. It's like, it's a pain. You've got stainless steel hardware. You've got an easy integrated system. So you literally hit this, retractable, you're good to go. Launch the boat. When you pull it back and put it onto the skiff, or I'm sorry, put it on the trailer, lock this up, pull this lever. That's not going anywhere. So really like this. You want to make sure your straps are good. We're strapped in the front, trailer lights are good. Now we're ready to rock and roll. It feels so good gripping this. And I've talked about this a bunch of times, but I'm super grateful to have reliable equipment. So right now, having a trailer, having a boat, having a motor that you can count on. When we first started out, we had literally Craigslist boats, Facebook Marketplace boats. They're all falling apart. We're hobbling together. Our trailers were always like super rusted, and you know, you got hubs and bearings and stuff. Hubs are the small little you know, bearings that are and equipment on each wheel, and those blow out on the highway and you're stuck on the side of the road. And right now it just feels so good to confidently pull out of the shop and have everything hooked up, secured appropriately, and just know that we're ready to go clean the ocean. That's very blessed, very grateful and appreciative, because it feels good. Yeah, and like I said earlier, we're about 20 minutes from Boynton Inlet, so we're gonna hop on the highway, head north, get off at the exit there, and then go hit straight to the boat ramp, and then offload this guy. Nice little cruise. We have arrived. So this is the Boynton ramp. A couple things I want to talk about with like boat ramp etiquette. So one thing that you want to be really cautious with is whenever you're coming to launch a boat, you want to stay out of the way. So like right now we got a couple things to prepare. We're gonna just like, you know, unhook the hooks and make sure everything's good to go. But you want to clear out of the launch area so that you're not blocking other people, you know, trying to launch their boats. And there's just small things you got to be careful with. There you go. So I like to go until just before the back tires are touching. You throw it in park, and then always put your parking brake on. Parking brake is super important. See how sometimes it's all, you know, a lot of algae and growth, and the boats will want to slide back. But I just try to go not to the water, because if you go too far, you're getting salt water on your brake calipers and rusting out everything, and nobody wants to ruin their gear, right? So pull off the safety chain, lower it down. There we go. So now the boat's free and ready to pull off the trailer. Woo, got the clean Garmin, baby. Okay, there we go, baby. She's purring like a kitten. Purring like a kitten, baby. So you start up the motor. You know, you want to get your dock lines out, make sure you're good to go. But slowly bring it off the trailer. So we got her backed up. God, it feels good to be on the water, tell you what. The little pockets that I was referring to on the map, those are actually right over there. So you can see this onshore wind is pushing like this. So when the water comes, that's Boynton Inlet right here. And so when the water comes in here and that tide is rushing, that onshore wind is going to push them into those pockets. So before we go and clean, what we want to do is we want to have a little bit of fun. We want to run the boat a little bit, make sure the T-top's nice and solid, and I'm curious to see how the boat performs with the new T-top on it, because we added a significant amount of weight and drag, so aerodynamic drag with this T-top. So I'm going to see how the boat performs, and we won't be able to run fast like this once we're loaded with plastic in all the bins, because there runs a risk of stuff flying out. So we're going to go have some fun right now, rip down the channel, and then we'll head over to those pockets and clean up some of that plastic. So let's see how this thing performs. She's smooth, baby, smooth! Feels so good, dude. I'm fired up. Look at this beautiful boat. We are on a coastline, and it's time to get after some plastic. So let's see what we got. What are we working with here? So here you can see we've got some water bottles, a bunch of cutlery, more water bottles, plastic, random bits and pieces, a lot of caps. You can see all this type of stuff. More bottles. Some of it gets, you know, to-go containers. Once you get up in here, this is where it really starts to see all the debris. So a bunch of you know, inflatable balls, and once you wrap around here, check this out. So that's where you start to see a lot of the stuff. You know, a ton of debris. We're gonna get after it. Yeah, a lot of people ask us like what we're finding. So like you're gonna see it here. A lot of it's plastic bags, food containers. This looks like it's a piece of a Mylar balloon. Balloons are super dangerous. Actually, it's just a plastic bag, but a lot of thin film, food wrappers and stuff like that. You can see all this stuff is bunched up like this. And what's happening is this is coming in from a tide line. So on a high tide, when the water is really high, it's pushing all this floating debris up in here and just compressing it. And then these mangrove roots are acting almost like a little trap. And so everything is getting stuck here. And that's why you're seeing a ton of this plastic, literally barnacles. That's been floating so long, it's growing barnacles. Close up, triple mortella. Looks like it's denture secure cement. Woo! Smell right. Isn't it crazy to see? Like, you don't, from the ocean, and when you're pulling in, it looks just like a really clean coastline. You don't really expect it. And then once you get up, it's like, oh my gosh, like there's stuff everywhere. Whew, okay, we gotta be careful. So we got this gnarly storm bearing down on us right now. It's looking pretty questionable.
How far out is that?
It looks like probably 20-30 minutes. We still got time. We're gonna see how much we can get done before, but it might even break up before it gets to us. But you know, when you're back in these mangroves in this area, like, I always like to just pause, and it's very therapeutic. You know, I like cleaning with a bunch of people, getting after it with the team, with the crew, with everybody. But I will tell you, like, going through and picking up each individual piece of plastic, and you know, there's a saying, focusing on one task in itself is therapeutic. And I really like this because you can kind of slow down. You're not thinking about 10 million things. You don't have back-to-back meetings going crazy and all sorts of stuff happening. You just have one task: clean this up and enjoy nature. And I really appreciate it. So this is wild though. I mean, I don't know if you can see how far back this goes, but this is nuts. It's time to get it. A lot of people ask us what we find out here, and what we're finding is a lot of single-use plastic. You know, recently, since a video Seaspiracy came out, a lot of people believe now that it's all fishing gear. And while it is true that there is a large amount of fishing gear, that's primarily offshore, you know, floating out in the Great Pacific Garbage Patch and things like that, big ghost nets and things like that. We are finding small little nets and small little fishing gear like this, But majority of what we're finding is single-use plastic. So it's all the single-use plastic that was consumed for a few minutes. It's the bags, it's the cutlery, a lot of bottle caps, and it's all the things that are used here locally and are ending up in the ocean. And we're just trying to show everybody that the near-shore plastic and the plastic on these coastlines is typically coming from land-based sources, not necessarily fishing gear. So, I mean, if you look around here, like check this out, like look at the volume of all this stuff. Let's just go through it, right? A flip-flop, a can, bottle, styrofoam cutlery, bottle caps, like, you know, random pieces of plastic. This is all plastic bags. A lot of this stuff is, it's all just single-use. And you know, there is some fishing gear, but what we're finding is primarily single-use plastic. We're trying to get this area cleaned up. Do you live in these apartments?
I live right there.
Oh, you live right here. So you see this all the time. Terry.
I had one of my guys come out here and clean the beach last week.
It's like every week. Yeah, we've cleaned up this area like quite a bit, but it's pretty wild to see how much stuff gets caught back up in here. Yeah. Nice to meet you, buddy. Sorry, hands are pretty nasty after this. That was cool. But yeah, one thing I want to show you, let me just walk you guys through this. Look at how gnarly this all is. Like, it's pretty crazy to see like the amount, just the volume of plastic that's back here. And you can't see it. You have no idea that it's back here because the tide brings it up, but there's so much plastic back here. All sorts of stuff and big old spiders. I'm not gonna lie, that guy spooked me. I heard a 30 voice. I was like, whoa, whoa, whoa. So that guy that just came up and said, you know, he just explained he lives here, and he said he comes back here, has, you know, his team clean it up like once a week, and it's always dirty, but that just shows how much plastic is here. And nice dude, offered us some Cokes, Gatorade, said he's gonna come back in a little bit, help us clean. We'll see. Yeah, hey guys, one thing I did want to talk about is if you're enjoying this content and you want to support our cleanups, you can like, comment, subscribe, anything like that helps out the channel, helps us scale our cleanups around the world, but also helps us employ our full-time captains and crews around the world. So if you want to learn more about 4Ocean, you're interested in potentially purchasing a product, so we have our 4Ocean bracelets. These are made with the plastic that we're collecting. So literally, these are recovered water bottles that our team have collected. For every one purchase, we remove 5 pounds of trash from the ocean. So there's that opportunity. We also have our partnering with businesses and brands to implement sustainability programs and help fund us to clean up plastic just like this. But either way, even if you're just watching out there, throw us a like, throw us a comment, throw some love. Anything that you show, we show those comments to our cleanup crews. So if you want to throw some stoke, throw some love to the crews out there working hard every day, we're going to end up showing this to them. And let's keep that momentum, right? They deserve a little bit of love, and we want to keep them fired up. So appreciate you guys. Thank you. It's looking like that storm is clearing up, though.
Whoa, whoa, whoa.
So this is what I thought was a chair. Looks like it's a big tarp. Let's grab this guy and get him out of here. So this would break down into tiny little pieces. It's still pretty fresh, but once that sun starts to hit it, the waves start to break it apart. This would turn into crazy bits of microplastic everywhere.
Hey, that's pretty.
That's a nice fender. Mangroves have a stilt type of root structure that goes down into the ground, and so these things are really easy to get tangled up, and they're hard as hell to cut out. But you gotta go through and get that big bunch. This is an example of what they would call the start of like a ghost net, right? It's just ropes, lines, fabric, fishing line. Look at all this. That's Power Pro, like braid. It all just starts to accumulate, and then that becomes the big old floating trap that things get caught in. Yeah, see, it's got all the fishing line in it, fabric. There we go. there's a full bin. Okay, we're full, baby. Got it?
Yeah, I'll get it.
It's like the laundry. You can't leave that one sock behind. You gotta get it all. Tide's lowering, or falling tide. As you can see, it's getting a little shallower. So what we need to do, lift up the power poles, push the boat off a little bit so it's still floating. That way we don't get stranded here, because that tide will come out another, 5-6 feet as far as distance to the beach. And this thing will be floating high and dry. We won't be going anywhere. Okay, so that's exactly what not to do. We got a little distracted in there, worried about the storm and cleaning up plastic, but that tide drops quick. So, learning lesson. Make sure you're backing the boat up when you've got a falling tide and keep a sharp eye on it. I thought we had a little bit longer, but happens to everybody. No. How are you? Cheering us on, I love that. Giving us the hype.
Thank you.
Thank you. We appreciate it. This little pocket is clean. We got all that trash loaded back up. Check this out. We're getting the old skiff dirty. Tony, don't be mad. Don't be mad, Tony. Oh man, I love it. I give Tony such a hard time. So Tony is our director of cleanups, and since we've gotten the new gear, so the new Sea-Doos, the new Carolina skiff, all that type of stuff, he's been so cautious with like trash and scratching it and putting stuff on the boat. And so every time he's like, ooh, let's put this in the bin, or oh, let's not put that there. So him and I have a running little joke. My goal is to get these things as dirty as possible. Carolina skiffs, Sea-Doo, all our partners, everyone was like, hey, use this the way you would. Be as authentic as possible. Use the hell out of these things. Don't baby them. Don't worry if they get a little scratched up. Go for the gold. So I'm putting these things to the paces. We're gonna clean up a bunch of trash. We're gonna cover the deck, but Tony's always kind of like super cautious with it. So we got to run and joke in that sense of my job is to dirty this thing up, and he tries to keep it as clean as possible. But all in good fun. All in good fun. This is a new thing, right? We're starting the new YouTube channel, but our goal for this is to be able to take you guys behind the scenes. We want to show you everything that happens within 4Ocean and give you all the background to how we conduct our cleanups, where we do them, how we do them, the gear, what we're finding. We just want to bring you guys along on the journey. And honestly, we plan to even start to show you guys what making making products out of this stuff that we're collecting. We want to show you guys the behind the scenes, show you everything that's going on, and just bring you along. Talk about it, talk about plastic, what we can do to turn the tide on single-use plastics and avoid stuff like this. At the end of the day, we're trying to raise awareness, get people stoked on cleaning the ocean, and most importantly, keeping the ocean clean. So if you guys are liking it, share, like, comment, subscribe, all that good stuff. You're giving us some love, giving our captains and crew some love, and we really, really appreciate it, because that supports us and enables us to get out here and keep doing this. Saw a little haul, guys. I'll tell you what, you saw, it's not easy work. There's spiders, you're sweating, a lot of just nasty stuff, right? Like all sorts of liquids and stank, but we got her clean. 1 pound at a time, baby. We got her clean. Got some nice bins full, and now we're gonna go and do a little cruising. We're coming back in right now, and the tide is much lower, so you can see this is an exposed little sandbar, and we're in the dead middle of the channel. It's only 1.5 feet deep right now. So tide's falling fast. As you saw, we got caught back there a little bit with the boat and had to push her out. But a successful little day. We got the skiff ran amazing, T-top, held up beautifully. It's nice and installed, nice and solid. It's a good skiff. I'll tell you what, we're chipping things off. I've wanted to build a dream cleanup skiff. This has literally been on my vision board for so long, of like something that's super reliable, really, really great skiff to go out there and do all this type of stuff. And this thing is it's making it happen. I'll tell you what, it's coming to life. So, a couple more things. I need to add like a trolling motor up on the front. Trolling motor would be used for shallow water.
when I just trim up the motor, and then I can, you know, navigate from the front with that. Well, we've got pretty much stuff, a lot of stuff. I'm gonna put a better sound system on the boat, just a few speakers, get a little bit of bump. But yeah, this thing is great. I mean, check it out. We got a ton of trash. We're dialed. For anybody trying to learn, you know, how to back up a boat, how to trailer a boat, I highly recommend go in the middle of the week. Like today's Thursday, boat ramp's basically empty, but you don't want to come here on a Saturday when you've got 30 people in line, everybody's honking the horn, giving you all sorts of pressure. Come on a weekend, and weekday, and just practice. So I'll show you guys what we do to kind of back up. So whenever you're backing up a trailer, you want to be mindful. Always look around, take your time, make sure there's no kids running around back behind the trailer. Boat ramps, everybody gets offloaded, it's busy, and a lot of people will forget what's going on, and you know, you can have little kids running back behind. So just move slow, double check everything, use your mirrors. Do a little lap around. Whenever you're backing up a trailer, a bigger trailer is actually a little bit easier than a smaller trailer, like a jet ski trailer. Ironically enough, it's because the smaller trailers are incredibly difficult to back up, because they are, every little movement that you make has a huge adjustment on it. So whenever you're backing up a trailer, you want to get out, get nice and straight, use your mirrors, you know, check on the side, but I like to even just look back at the trailer. And the trick is to use the guideposts. So using the guideposts to back up, you can, you know, use those as your kind of guiding post. But you just want to go nice and straight, take your time, go slow. Boat ramp etiquette, you want to go as far to one side of the boat ramp as possible so that you're allowing other people to load their boats within this side of the ramp. You want to back up nice and slow. And once you get back there to about, I like to open the door, so that's why I don't normally wear a seatbelt when I'm doing this, but you want to back up until about halfway. Then once that tire gets close to the water, you're good, and you can park. So now you're good to go. Put on the parking brake, you're ready to load. So whenever you're loading a trailer, make sure your winch strap is straight and level. You want to hook it onto the hook, give her a few cranks. So you've got, typically with the trailer, you're gonna have two. You're gonna have your main winch line, and you're gonna have a safety hook. So what I like to do is crank this. Now, one thing that I like to recommend to everybody is, like, stay away from the side of this. When you're cranking these boats up, there's so much pressure on this winch that a lot of people will sit right here and they'll crank like this. And the problem is that when all that tension's here, if something pops, because these winch straps, they go all the time. Sun rots them, they become brittle. Like, these pop when you're putting thousands of pounds of pressure on them. So I always just advise, get out of the way. Try and stay out of the way. Crank her up. Like that. So that way, if there were to something pop and shoot back, your face isn't right in front of it. Put your safety chain right on it, and you're good to go. You want to make sure that the bow is up on the rollers. There's a little bit of pressure here, but once we get going, or once we pull it out and the boat levels out, this is going to pull back, and it's going to be nice and snug right on there. That way the bow won't be bouncing when you're trailering. But yeah, now we just pull out nice and slow and nice and even. We're just gonna secure these bins down, hook up the back straps, make sure all our gear's ready to go, and we'll be set. Just got back to the shop. And what we're gonna do is we're gonna back up the boat, offload the trash, we're gonna weigh it, document it, and then get the boat cleaned up. Now we've got all the info from the cleanup, and so this is our scale. So we have all our scales and all our bins set up. So what we do is, you'll see it's at negative 10.2 pounds. So when you, actually, sorry, what we need to do is reset this. So we're gonna tear this. Now tear it means you're going to 0. So there we go, we're at 0 pounds. Now the reason why we do that is because we're gonna set this bin on here. So when an empty bin comes off, it's about 15 pounds of weight. So right now when we put the bins full of trash, we're gonna get only the contents that are inside of the bin
what that weighs and what that total weight is. Then we're gonna take photos and upload that to the trash tracker. So let's get these things down and see how much we collected today. Okay. All right, first bin, ladies and gents. $40.1. Okay, so now what we do is we're gonna take photos of each bin. So now you can see we take a photo of the bin, and if you look at this photo, now we're gonna upload this so you can see the contents of what's inside this bin. You know the date, time spent cleaning, area clean, who cleaned, vessel, and how many pounds are in that photo. So we're gonna take the footage that we shot today, we're gonna show the crew members, the before, the during, the after screenshots, plus the each individual bin weighed. And this is our way of showing, and that's all uploaded in our trash tracker, and that's our way of showing every single pound that's been removed. 40 pounds on that guy. This guy's a little heavier. Yeah, this one's a little heavier, so let's see what we got here. Now, we got 67 pounds. So we need to take the same thing, take a photo, bingo. So that's 107.1 pounds. So now what we'll do is we'll take these photos, we'll upload them to the trash tracker with all the photos of us cleaning, and that's how we allocate pounds to our partners, to people that are purchasing bracelets. You know, this is all tracking everything that we're collecting from the ocean so that we can show you guys exactly what we're collecting for our commitment of 5 pounds or the 1 pound with our partnerships. But yeah, now it's time to get the boat cleaned up. That was a solid little cleanup. I mean, I gotta tell you, I'm very, very thrilled with how this thing performed. Big shout out to our partners, Carolina Skiff, Boatmax Online, Ameritrail. Look at that. That was a cleanup that went off without a hitch. New T-top is primo, really nice. And now I'm gonna get this thing all shined up for Mr. Tone Ranger. We'll get her nice and clean for him. But if you guys are liking the content, check us out, like, comment, subscribe, show us some love. If you want to support our cleanups, you can get some of our products. These are all made with the plastic we collect. And thank you guys so much for watching. Really appreciate it. Thank you for helping us to get out here to clean plastic out of the ocean. And thanks for getting me out of the office. I appreciate it, y'all. Cheers. Talk to you soon.